Welcome to the Architecture Corner.
Great to be here.
Today, we're digging into something I think many of you building on AWS will find really interesting.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's about handling message batches, specifically from SQS going into Lambda, that common pattern.
Ah, yes. Batching. Comes up all the time with SQS, Kinesis-2, feeding into Lambda functions.
Exactly. And we've been looking at an article outlining some key improvements AWS made here recently.
Right. So the basic idea of batching, just a level set, is grouping messages together, correct?
Yeah. Instead of invoking your Lambda for every single message, you grab a bunch, maybe 10, maybe more.
And the goal is usually, well, it's about efficiency.
Definitely. Fewer Lambda invocations can mean lower costs, maybe higher overall throughput. It sounds simple on the surface.
It does. You just tweak a setting on the event source mapping. But the complexity creeps in pretty fast when things go wrong.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? Error handling.
Totally. If you're just processing one message at a time, it's, well, relatively straightforward.
Right. The function error's out. SQS knows that one message failed, and it comes back after the visibility timeout. Simple.
But with a batch,
Yeah.
imagine you get 10 messages. Your code chews through, say, 8 of them, perfectly fine.
Okay.
But then, boom, message number 9 causes an exception. Your function stops and throws an error.
So what happened traditionally in that scenario before this new capability?
Well, SQS would see that the Lambda invocation failed. And because it failed, it assumed the entire batch of 10 messages failed.
Wait, all 10, even the 8 that actually processed?
Exactly. The whole batch would be returned to the queue and redelivered later.
Oh, wow. Okay, so then your Lambda gets that same batch again.
And you'd have to build logic inside your function to figure out, okay, which of these did I already process successfully last time?
You'd need to track state somehow, maybe write IDs to DynamoDB or something,
Yeah.
to handle duplicates within the retry.
Precisely. Lots of boilerplate, lots potential for bugs. It kind of undermined the simplicity that serverless often promises,
Yeah, that sounds messy. I know Kinesis Streams had a way around this for a while, right? Like you could tell it how far you got.
Correct. Kinesis had this custom checkpointing concept where you could report success up to a certain sequence number in the batch. SQS didn't really have that built-in equivalent.
Until now, or at least until recently. So what's the change? What did AWS add?
They added a new capability specifically for the SQS Lambda integration. It's a configuration option.
What's it called?
It's called ReportBatchItemFailures.
Okay, report batch item failures. And enabling that, what does it let you do differently?
It changes how your function reports back on failure. Instead of just throwing a generic error that fails the whole batch, your function can now return a specific response structure. And in that response, you list the message IDs of only those items within the batch that actually failed.
Ah, I see. So my Lambda processes 8 messages fine, hits an error on number 9, maybe skips number 10 because of the error.
Right.
Then instead of just erroring, it returns saying, hey, message ID for number 9 failed.
Exactly that. You return the list of failed item IDs. SQS sees that specific response.
And then only redelivers message number 9, not the whole batch.
Precisely. The messages you didn't report as failures are considered successfully processed and are deleted from the queue by Lambda.
Okay, that sounds significantly better.
It's a huge improvement for developers.
So let's break down the benefit for you listening right now. What does this practically mean?
It means you can ditch most of that complex, custom duplicate detection logic inside your Lambda function, at least for batch retries.
Your error handling becomes much simpler. You just need to catch exceptions per message, collect the IDs of the failed ones, and return them.
Right. You get the cost and throughput benefits of batching without the massive headache of managing partial failures and redeliveries yourself.
It lets you focus more on the actual business logic of processing the message rather than the plumbing around making batches reliable.
Absolutely. It makes building resilient SQS and Lambda systems just easier. It removes a big chunk of complexity.
Feels like a quality of life improvement that was really needed for SQS batching.
Definitely aligns SQS capabilities a bit more closely with what Kinesis offered in this specific area.
So maybe a final thought for you to consider. Take a look at your existing SQS Lambda integrations. If you're using batches, could enabling report batch item failures simplify your code? Could it make your error handling more robust and, frankly, less painful to maintain?
It's definitely worth investigating. Small configuration change, potentially big impact on your function's complexity and reliability.
For more details on the specific AWS updates and the article we touched upon, do check out the description.
Yeah, good resources there.
And don't forget to subscribe for free to the Architecture Corner newsletter for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.